So exactly 12 years ago today, April 22nd, 2008, my dad died of lung cancer. And so every year on this day, I like to share some things about what he taught me. And I share it with people, but this time I'm going to share it in the video format. And he taught me some incredible things that I think are lacking in our society today. So I'm going to share 5 things that my dad taught me that are incredible life lessons that need to be talked about more and shared today. So the first one that I see lacking, like all of the things I'm going to list right now today, is follow through. So if you say you're going to do something, you do it. You don't make a habit of saying you're going to do things and then not doing it, not following through, making empty promises. And that's a lot of what I see today in our society. I think it's one of the things that is really wrong with our society, because we see people having basically hype-based approaches to life, right? So all the bullshit with Instagram and social media, instead of using social media in a positive way, like how I'm using it to share information, like some of the people that inspire me use it, you know, Ralph Smart, Brian Rose from London Real. There's a lot of people who are, you know, Valuetainment. There's great channels that are sharing valuable information, but there's also millions upon millions of people who just use it to talk and floss and try to flex and and try to be something that they're not. So my dad taught me to be authentic and to be real, and part of being authentic is to follow through on what you say you're going to do. Don't make a habit out of saying you're going to do things and not doing them, because then you become, as my dad would say, a phony. So he always discouraged that type of behavior, and he was also very intimidating. And some things, you know, he would say, it's not up for discussion. In other words, you didn't like it, it wasn't up for discussion, you better listen. If he said to do something, you better do it. And the second thing that he taught me is in regards to the ocean and surfing. And he taught me never ever turn your back on the ocean. And he had me in swim lessons before I could even really walk. I was a little baby, you know. I remember having my first experience where I felt like I was gonna drown when I was about, you know, a year old or a little less. I felt that feeling of inhaling water and feeling like I was gonna drown. So I was, you know, raised in the water, in the ocean. And he taught me at a very young age, don't ever turn your back on the ocean. Now, another one which I see lacking often in today's society is look people in the eye, and when you shake their hand, look them in the eye. And that is something, again, that we may think, oh, I've even heard, I think it was Dr. Fauci, that guy said that handshakes, something to the effect that handshakes would be forever removed from the human experience and interaction, which is total nonsense, total bullshit. The handshake's not going anywhere, but very important thing also, because the handshake is a thing that goes way back, that represented the two parties, the two men saying to the other that they were, I come in peace. I'm not going to pull out a weapon. So the history of the handshake is very important, and the handshake will endure. But that was one of the things that he said, was to always look someone in the eye when you shake their hand and give them a firm handshake. And another one which he taught was use your creativity and ingenuity to solve problems. And that is something, again, that is, I think, really lacking in our society. But we see it with all the successful people and figures. We see them using their creativity and ingenuity to solve problems, because if you can do that, you have no limits. Nothing can stand in your way, because you remove obstacles by using your creativity and ingenuity. And if you do that now, I would say it's going to be of more benefit to yourself and to society than ever before, because the stakes are higher than ever before, and people are either going to get swept by the wayside, or they're going to become stronger and progress and grow and be one of the entities that helps rebuild this ruined society in some ways. So we got to rebuild, and creativity and ingenuity is a great way to do so. And there's so many, there's really so many, but the last one of these five is really to respect nature, and also to face your fears, and using nature as a medium to do that. And what I mean by that is you have to respect nature, but at the same time you can have nature help you push your limits so that you can become a stronger person and a more humble person, and nature will always humble you. And I'm going to give an example. I remember when I was about 5 or 6 years old, we were at Mammoth Mountain, and actually my friend Jay and I were on a ski trip with my dad, and we were up at the top of what they call the cornice, which was a black diamond. And Jay actually remembered this story, and he told me that your dad, yeah, he said, "You ready?" And he pushed you down the black diamond without much warning. And so that was the kinds of things that, you know that I grew up with, is that it was it was rough and tumble, and it was often scary too, not just my dad, because he was intimidating, but the situations sometimes, like in the mountains. And it was about being careful, but it was also about pushing the limits. And for sure that's why I have the attraction to surfing big waves and pushing the limits there, because it's just something that was passed down, because my grandfather was one of the first free climbers in the US. They would just go climb in Wyoming and in those Four Corners states right before World War II started. And when the war started, he actually helped train special forces how to climb and fight in mountainous terrain and in snow. So outdoors is a big part of the family. But my dad was more of a mountain person than an ocean person, but he always had me in the ocean, and he loved the ocean. But he was an incredible skier, incredibly graceful and skilled. And so that was one of some of the great contributions that he gave me and my sister too. And I feel a responsibility to share a lot of the things that have made me who I am with the world, because of what he taught me. So yeah, pushed me down that black diamond, which, if you've skied before as an adult, you realize that's scary. That's like it's almost straight down slope, and you're going down. So I was, as a 5-year-old, getting pushed down that, and those experiences shape you, And then when we would come down a big slope, we would stop, and my dad would look up the slope. We'd be standing there, and he would say to me, he'd say, "Look how far we just came. We were up there, and now you made it down this, here we are. Look at how far, look at how much distance you covered." And that was growing up, being raised by my dad. So this video's for him. This video's for the world, to teach people some things that are needed today. And I will see you in the next video.